It's time for us to get started with our combined commissioner and council work session to discuss the potential improvements that we're making to the county buildings.
You turning it over to me?
Yes.
Oh, turn it over to me. Sorry, I needed to get some coffee. I apologize for being late. Okay. So Henry, I didn't know if you brought documents, so I'll get documents to everybody on the windows. Okay. Yeah. I have a copy. I don't need a copy. So Henry and I have been working together, oh gosh, several months now, going over different things and them going through the buildings. I mean, really, I haven't gone through the buildings, but he's gone through the buildings. We've been in communication. And so the last time we met, they had put together the proposal for the courthouse, the Justice Center, and the Masonic building. And then we had requested for them to add some alternates. The first document is those alternates for the Henry County Courthouse, Masonic Building, and the Justice Center. And then also through them going through the buildings, and you'll see that he has a sample window. The request was made to do a test window in this building and in the Masonic building. And so he's going to discuss that and explain why, and he has given 2 quotes, one for each, as to why he's going to do that. So that's the 10,000 square foot view of, I think, Henry, I've hit it all on the 10,000 square foot view. Let me get you a microphone.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'll let you go in whatever order you want to go first. If you want to go through the document G802 first, or if you want to do it second, whatever order you want to go through.
Give a little overview of yours.
Sure, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, first of all, it's been a pleasure working with the commissioners. They've been very helpful in letting us get into those spaces with their, I am disappointed that they didn't tell me I shouldn't be up in the bell tower at 11 o'clock when the bell rang. It was very loud up there with that, so.
Well, at least it wasn't there at noon.
Yeah, with that. So a year and a half ago, we did an overall study, conditions with that, and it kind of came in with that. You set a budget for the project. With it, so much for this building, so much for the Masonic building. We came through and told you what we thought could get done for that amount. It wasn't everything on that list. It came back and said, well, what if we did some more monies with it? So that's kind of where we're at here today. We've been going through the building, looking through what it's going to take to get all of that done. Let me talk about this building here first. With that, the major portion of this is all the exterior work, the stone work that is happening through there, the water infiltration that you have in that beautiful building down in basement down there. None of you have been in there. It's a treat to go down in there. If you do go down there, have a mask on with that. So major portion of this is the window replacement. These are not the original windows that were in the building with it. In the tower portion, if you go up in the bell, we believe that those are the original windows. So I've been working with a couple of different companies to go through with that. Our proposal right now is to replace these with aluminum-clad wood windows. You've probably been in a lot of other courthouses that have changed windows. They put in something similar, like an aluminum window like this with it. It's not bad, but the thing is, on the interior appearance with it, you can get different colors, but this is the color you're going to get. You're not going to get a look of the wood with that. We're figuring that's going to be a painted wood on the inside with that. There's talk about potentially at one time or another bringing this up to its original stained wood and everything with that. So in that case there, these windows in here the new wood on the interior that could be stained. As we went through, looking at these windows and what was done when these were replaced, a lot of different things happening with that. Did they leave some of the windows in there? As you know, the curved portion of the windows either have wood in them, have an air conditioner sticking out of them with that. So the idea came up is that let's do a demonstration window in each of the buildings so that we know what it's going to take to get the window out of it, what's left inside there, and when we put it back in through there, what trim pieces and all that are going to have to go with that. So working with Pella, and I brought a sample here if you want to see a typical Pella window with that, they gave us a price to do the whole package of the window. Take it out, put it in, get rid of everything. The only thing that would not be done is the painting on the inside with that. I want to discuss that with you. That's a small portion of it, and we can determine that. One of you lucky people will also get to pick a color of the windows. So our thoughts here is it's going to kind of come close to what the paint is on the exterior. Part of the project is we are painting the exterior. All of these colors are a coated color with it, so whatever color gets picked on the window, we can match the paint color with that exact with it, so everything would match up with that. The window in this building that we're thinking about doing the demonstration down the stairs and to the right with it, that window that's out there. We picked that window because it's an arched window for one thing. It's one of the larger ones with that. It's not in an occupied space with that, so it wouldn't interrupt people doing that work while they're doing that work in through there with it. We're thinking this is probably going to be at the most 4-day period to take the window out and put the window back in with it. They'll have that enclosed at all times doing that with it, so the building will be secure with that. I don't know if you had a chance to look at each of the individual quotes or not, or have questions about any of the materials that are going to be on there.
I do.
Great.
I have windows that open,
Great question. So,
because that's not my work.
is it all right if I bring this around?
Sure, absolutely.
Hear that?
No, I've been in a building the windows don't open. My windows open year round in my office.
See it? So this will be, the top portion of the window will be a fixed window because it has the arch portion into it. Most here windows like this here called the double hung, round sash. Goes that. And any of the windows that are square, they will operate like this. Now, our thought is we are upgrading some of the HVAC in some of these spaces because of the problems that you're having. That's part of the project there. But we're finding out a lot of times that if you start opening windows, it really does go to your HVAC system. I understand working through there. These windows will be able to operate with that, but our thought was that this mechanism that's on the inside here would be a locked system that you need a tool. We just don't want everyone else to open them up and stuff like that. So that's where we're at right now. We can have some more discussions on that.
I figured, and I'm coming from a person who worked 8 years in a building.
Yeah, the
with
bill,
no
yeah,
windows.
yeah.
And when the heat goes out or that whatever, we suffocated over there, and we suffocate in here now. Our windows are open all the time. So that's where I'm coming from. I've been in that building for 8 years with no windows, and it's not fun.
So we can have it installed with just this on it. If it's all right with the county to do that, that's what we can do, then we have that option to have the windows.
But we'd have to have maintenance come and open it for us.
Well, there's two different things that we could do in that. Have it go like this here, and you just do it like a typical home window, or you put the locking one up through there, and you have a tool to do that. It's just, I didn't know how the county felt about having people, obviously open windows now, and with it, if that's something that's all right with that, I would suggest just doing one of these. The other thing is with that, with
Well, I mean, we could do it in the ones that are not occupied.
Yes.
Have the locking ones because, in the areas that's not going to be occupied downstairs, there's windows. There's no reason to have them so they can open, but in the offices,
Yeah,
our office, you know, because, well, my window behind me has the air conditioner in it. Steve's cranks open behind you, is that correct? Yeah.
But you're gonna be disappointed with proposing that the air conditioners go away.
Oh, darn it. I'm so upset that that air conditioning is going to go away.
What's the alternative to the air conditioning going away? Is there a
He's-
complete redo of the HVAC?
A complete redo of the HVAC system of,
Not in every space.
right, but most.
We have some other units that are already been put in here. We are putting units down in the basement. We got a huge humidity problem down in there, so we're moisture that they.
If you look at this document,
And then some other, rooms around the building, so they're adding that in. In areas on the first floor there on the west side, you, through the years, have done a great job trying to bring those up the way it is. We would have exposed ductwork, that's gonna be hastily done, in through there. Any type of unit that's up in the ceiling, it's gonna be in another room over there that has a lane ceiling in it already. So we're not gonna see those units, we just see the ductwork, with that. And our plans and all that clearly show that stuff. That's on there.
No, I just don't want windows that don't open. I mean, I know it's not, I don't have the final say, but
well, I agree. In offices that are occupied, I think you should be able to open your windows, but in the ones that are either storage or not necessary, that they be able to
And we'll go
open.
through
I don't know
and
what
talk
you
with
guys
you as
think.
far as which ones you think are the ones that should be manual locked. And again, it's a security issue too with that, with it, just making sure that the windows are secured at night. Any questions on these two? Not yet. Uh-oh. Okay. So on the additional work, I can't remember what number that was I have here. G802. So our original contract with you was for the original amounts with that. So if you asked us to do some additional work, so we put together fee proposals to do that work with it. And it includes in there what the additional items would be included in the documents for the improvements to the Masonic building and for the courthouse here. I broke it down there as far as what the original amount was on each of the buildings in through there. And then as you go through on the next pages in there, it's the other items that get added into it.
I have a question for the courthouse. You said we have a huge humidity problem in the basement here.
Yes.
So do we have a mold problem that's going to be remediated, or is it not?
We are going to, especially in those areas down through there, the rooms that have the paneling and all that's going to be taken out and cleaned up with that. We are going to redo the drainage around the building, put actually some foundation drains around through there. We're proposing that we have at the window wells, and where you don't have window wells, with it, a drain down in through there with that. So the part of mold remediation is not part of this work with that. So I think it'd be probably good, and I've said this to you, Bobby, everything underneath this building in the basement, I don't feel is an occupied space. Storage, yes, occupied for people working in through there. Even after going through this, it's going to be much better with that. Exiting out of there is a challenge. You have a lot of utilities and other stuff down in through there with that. So,
And that's from the restrooms east.
east, correct, right, yeah, anything under the original portion
Right,
of the building here with that. And I've talked to you about this. I'm proposing that some of those entries from the exterior go away. You have two down here on the northeast corner that go into rooms. You have another two over here with that. From what I've seen on these were entries into the lower level that were added at one time or another. They're not original to the building. You can tell they've been cut into the foundation with that. Every one of them, the drains down there don't work with that. It's the original wood doors for the most part on all of those down in through there. And I think if we fill those in and make the stone match through there, The building is going to be better for it, less moisture getting in through there, and less potential for someone getting into the building without you knowing it.
The walling off or sealing off the doors, is that in the first or the second? Or is that the alternatives?
That's on the main portion.
Main portion,
of the first,
okay.
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
yep,
Oh, yes, I see infill lower level doors and windows.
yep.
And then I'll just read off what the alternates are for this building. Update the fire alarm, replace light fixtures with LEDs, replace panel MDP, update lighting controls, replace existing drinking fountains, there's 5 of them, replace water heater in the basement, replace AHU1 and AHU3 in the attic, remove any and replace lay-in ceilings, not the courtroom, but in all the other offices, replace carpet in the courtroom, marble tile, I'm not sure what you just have marble tile.
Yes, if you notice that the entries on the first
Oh,
floor,
yes, they're
where the
correct,
doors coming in, the marble tile has deteriorated with it. So we're showing on the plans currently, I don't remember how many square feet. We're showing like 20 square feet worth of the black and white tile to
Okay.
be replaced.
In the
through there.
entryways?
You got rugs over it right now just to cover it up.
Yep. Replace 3 hollow metal doors and frames into basement. Interior stair handrail extension. This is out here?
Yes,
Yes, to make it safer, ADA compliant.
yeah, not so scary when you walk next to it.
And then replace the 5 entry doors
Yes.
with push bar, I'm assuming, or,
We'd replace those with an aluminum door, but something that's a little bit more appropriate for the building. These are what we call the narrow style doors with that. What we're proposing is something that has a little bit wider of a profile in through there. Chances are, I haven't seen any pictures of that, but they are probably a wood with maybe some windows in there originally with that. I don't recommend those for doors that get a lot of access into them. They'll just wear out with that. But they would be more in the flavor of what was there size-wise. But yes, they would have exit devices on them and closers on them. When we were waiting, we were down at the door on the first floor going through there, and there's a lot of wind coming in that door.
yeah, if you stand at any of the doors, there's gap. When you can stand up at the top of our stairs and look down on the first floor and see if the lock is engaged, there's a pretty good gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so. Does anybody have any questions on these alternates? Microphone? There you go.
We were talking about carpet. I know we had talked about seeing what the floor looked like underneath this before we considered carpeting or not. Because I know that originally this was a hardwood floor with the possibility of just having runners fastened in between the aisles. So we want to worry about people slipping. So I would, before we said we was going to do carpet, I'd like to see what we can do with the floor underneath. Because I know the end game is, and I hate doing stuff over and paying for it twice. I guess that's my issue is, you know, if we're going to put carpet down and then eventually go back to having the
absolutely.
original floors, to me, it's a waste of money to put new carpet in. It's just like some of when we're redoing and you're putting in new windows that are still going to be somewhat covered up, then why would we not go ahead and raise the ceilings at the time we're doing it? Because I know that was one of the questions I asked you about the office up there was, if we're replacing the windows, if you're going to have to replace it all the way up anyway, then why not raise the ceiling back up to at least above the windows anyway?
Yes, that's what we're doing, yep. I would suggest in the case of here, unless you want to get the knives out now and start cutting up and see what's underneath there.
Well, we know what's underneath
You
there.
can pull up the far corner I already have.
Yeah, we know what's underneath there. It's wood floor that's been, the carpet's been glued
Yeah.
all over.
So, yeah, you know, what condition it's in with that.
Now, of course, around through here, there's things that have been, where is the one?
Patched
Right over
and
here,
replaced.
yeah.
Yeah,
Some things have been
with
done
that.
differently.
We
Yeah.
could have the carpeting in here, as an alternate, just to have the price to get it done through there, and then take it up, and then, once you come in to see what work needs to be done with it. Is it a matter of resanding the whole floor and refinishing it with that? I know there's parts in here that you say you can see into here, but that the whole thing.
Right.
And I will say, it's going to change the acoustics in here, and not for the better with that. So you just have to keep that in
Probably
mind.
with the low ceiling, it won't. Probably if we ever get to redo that up there, the acoustics, because this used to be a courtroom.
Yes. Right.
Once that's taken out, the acoustics will probably be better, but the
Yes.
cost of doing all that and rerouting everything that's above that ceiling is going to be exorbitant. Because they just use that as a trackway for all the data cables, electrical, everything. So all that would have to be
Nothing that we're going to do is going to be simple and cheap.
No, I'm not saying it
So-
is, but, you know,
But, this is a process that, has been discussed for how long? I mean, the whole ceiling up above it is missing.
well, I guess we could
so-
have him give us the numbers to redo this room altogether.
I was going to ask if you had already done that quote.
No,
have
to
not.
redo this, no, no, because,
We have not. And I will say, being up in that balcony area there, taking a look, the flashlight in there, the original ceiling, what's left of it up there is really in bad shape with that. So trying to get through, I believe you gave me the black and white picture. Looking at this wall back in through here, you kind of get an idea of what some of the detailing was with that. But I think where we're at right now with it, leave this room as a separate project with that. We'll be happy to look into it and give you a price with that, but right now, I think including it in with this could be a little daunting, and you got to move too with that, so.
yeah.
But I think it's a great idea to do that with that, leave it in there, the carpeting as a alternate bid with that. We can get a price for the carpeting to go back in through here with that, see what it is, take it up, this carpet up. It's just that once you're at that point, taking the carpet up, you either got to put new carpet down or do something with the wood flooring with that. So the other thing to do would be to select a few areas and actually take it up with that, and then we could see about getting a price what it would be to refinish the floors and include that as an alternate in there too. One would be carpeting, the other one would be refinished wood floors. I just don't want to get it up and all of a sudden there's a 8x10 patch that was done with plywood, and then you've got the.
Trust me, I did that in my house.
Yeah.
Took the carpet out of a bedroom, and there was two spots. One in the middle was not that big, but it was large
Right.
enough that the wood floor had been replaced with a piece of plywood, and another in another area, so.
Yeah.
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 About replacing the drinking fountain,
Yes.
and you might talk to Ken and Greg, those were actually removed and done because of the, whatever kind of pipe went to them, I don't remember. But that's why we have the water that we have on the floors for them, was because we had to unhook all of those. Maybe, I can't, you'd have to ask Ken and Greg, but there was a reason that we had to unhook all of them, was because of whatever pipes went into them, and that's why they gave us the water.
Let me
that
text
was on each
Ken real
floor.
quick.
I think I was treasurer when they did that. That's all I have.
Yeah, if you could find out any information on that. And it's nice to have at least one in there for a public use with that. We replace everything now with the ones that have the water bottle fill with that. I mean, most
Okay.
people don't use
Drinking fountains.
anymore, right?
Yeah, and that makes sense. I just didn't want you guys to hook, if you were actually hooking those back up.
No.
That was the reasoning why they were.
Okay. Yeah.
So these are the water bottle style.
Yes.
Any other questions on this building? Comments? Okay. Want to move on to the Masonic building? Or what we call the Masonic office building?
I do have a question though on the HVAC
Yes.
system. Because I know we've replaced almost all of the furnaces and HVAC systems on this floor and the third floor just in the last 2 years. because even when we first did the first go-around with DLC, we were in the process of replacing several, so the units that are on the third floor in the attic,
In the attic?
those are all new.
Yeah, when my engineer went through there, the reason, if you look on through there, I think he mentioned 2 of them in through there, AHU 1 and 3 in the attic. It was the date that was on those, and I'll double check that with that, but it was looked like it was that end of its useful life with that. But we'll double check if that had been
Because
changed.
I know there was 2 or 3 of them up there that I had replaced last year, year before.
Okay,
I think those-
Same with these here were replaced last year.
yeah.
go get
And
that.
those we're not touching.
that binder,
Where
where you listed all of those in that original presentation.
Oh, I don't think I brought,
I have, it was in that big book that we got, I don't know. a year
Okay,
or so
yes,
ago.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
hang on.
yep. So, along with that, what we were talking about earlier as far as upgrading the HVAC, you have some other units that are ground mounted on through there. We'll have a few more that are out in through here with that. And so we chose to put everything back here and not in front of the building over on this side over here with that. So, and those are shown on our site plan and the HVAC plans.
Because I was thinking some of them are on the roof, if I remember right.
Yeah, I would not want to be the person that has to go up there and service those.
And we don't care. That's what we pay
As long as
them.
it's not you, right?
Well, I have to, but I'm not overjoyed about it.
Yeah, that just doesn't look safe up there.
Also, because we brought a crane in to set them up there when we did the ones we did.
Okay.
There were several here, and there's 2 or 3 over on the Masonic building that were just replaced. So I know there is one furnace on the 3rd floor over there that is probably at the end of its life expectancy, and I replaced one of those last year. So I know that part of or most of the units over there in the Masonic building within the last 2 or 3 years. We spend a lot of money replacing furnaces, so I don't want to spend that money again.
Sure.
Because we just did those.
Yep, I agree. Yep.
We just had
We'll,
one down
we'll double
today.
check that.
Not working. Over there. Okay, let me get here.
Are the units that you're putting in for the HVAC just air-to-air units? Are they all electric? I don't know anything about the HVAC here, so gas, or VRF system, what's going in?
They'd be a gas system with that. That's what you currently have now down through there. You have some electric also with that. So the ones that are going in there would be a gas system.
Thank you.
While I look for this, you can go ahead and continue on if you want to.
I will add through that I have been in contact with the Newcastle Historic Preservation Commission with that. They have been very good. I've been talking with Brittany Miller. I don't know if you know her or not.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So in the case of this building and the Masonic building, with that, I mean, she's very happy to know that you guys are doing what you can to keep the building historically correct with that. As far as the windows go with that, as long as they are, color-wise matching with what's in the original building now, and not talking the white in through there, but the cream color that's around through there, she was fine with that. We do have to fill out a certificate of appropriateness permit. I've been familiar with that. So if those get approved with that, we'll go ahead and get you that paperwork. On the Masonic building, on the main front with that, you've got some large windows. So originally, on the original $652,000 you're going to spend on there, we did not have window replacement on there. With the additional monies that you asked us to look into doing that, we are doing that. We will have to work with them because we're going to propose maybe a little bit different way these windows are broken up. Some of those units, I believe it's on the second floor, I mean, those are huge operable windows. And you can tell they're failing probably just because of their size. And we're going to propose maybe a little bit different thing to bring that size down so that these windows don't fail in the future with that. Storefront system that's on the first floor with that, we are going to propose that that be an aluminum system with that, with a color on the outside to match with that. And the only reason I'm saying that is with that being close to the ground, getting a lot of more traffic right up against the building with the sidewalk with that. If that was all wood down through there, that would be a maintenance item that you'd have to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody have any questions about the additionals for the, or alternates, excuse me, for the Masonic building? Okay, I guess, Henry, we can move on to the Justice Center.
Can I jump back to a question for this building real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
You have an item in here for replacing the main distribution panel, I believe. Yeah.
No, we're not. I don't think we are.
Replace panel MDP.
MDP, is that not the main distribution panel?
Is that C3 on the courthouse?
I was just asking about the size, if it had to be upsized for the additional HVAC
I'll
stuff.
ask with that, off the top of my head, I don't know what MDP is, so I'll ask with that if that's the main distribution panel.
Are we having to upsize the service from Duke Energy? Does anybody know?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, nuh-uh.
You sent me some of the little concerns from, I don't know who it was with that, but that was not one of them.
Right.
That was on there with that, so,
Right.
yeah. I will find out for you and let you know about it.
Thank you.
So now are we ready to go back to the Justice Center? And originally, they were getting nothing done.
Right, we felt originally with that the money was better spent on getting the Justice Building, the exterior brick, patching limestone, the windows and that done. There were, in the big picture of things, these are minor things at the Justice Center. So we have the UPS system in there. There's a lot of the exterior joints between the stones are opened up, replacing those joint sealants. There's a piece of exterior fascia right over here that is loose, fixing that. The roof hatch is not a very safe thing to get off on the roof. It really just needs to be relocated with that. We need to look into more some of the window leaks, why that is. Is there a seal that's gone
Judge
on the window?
McCord's, I know Judge McCord's window leaks horribly, and we can't figure out why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traffic coatings in the Sally Port. Be honest with you, it occurs a lot, unfortunate with that. If I had to recommend in a Sally Port issue with it, get a good hardened concrete without a coating on top of it. No matter what you do, a coating eventually is going to fail with that. When you put a coating down, a traffic coating on through there, you have to pretty much make sure that the concrete is prepared correctly with it. If it's had some sort of a curing compound or something on there that no one knew of with that can prevent it from bonding to the concrete with that. So in the case of this here, you need to go back through, pretty much do a sandblasting of the concrete, bring it back down, get a little gritty in through there so that traffic coating can bond to the concrete. And then patch and repair limestone. There's a lot of small areas there where there's chips in that with that. This day and age, they can make a limestone putty mix that goes in through there with that, and it matches the limestone, and it'll stay in place. We will not be cutting any. You can do cut out a piece of the stone with that. From what I've seen, these are small enough with that we can just use putty in those instances there to fix that, unlike the stone on this building.
The putty lasts a long time.
Yeah, I've had very good luck with the repairs I've done in the past with that. Working with a contractor that all he does is limestone. He actually did a limestone building right across here. Last time it got renovated, I had him come out and take a look at all three of the buildings.
The UPS system, is it a building-wide UPS, and this isn't the same UPS that's in the 911 center, is it?
That I don't know.
I don't know, but I will find out.
There is not a building-wide UPS when the
I
power goes
thought it
out.
was a local in one of the areas of the building.
Yeah, it may be, I don't know, I think that one may just have been replaced. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think we just replaced the UPS in the 911 center.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll check on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, comments on the Justice Center?
I got in late, I apologize.
Harold, could you use your microphone, please?
Harold Griffin, member of the council.
Glad to meet you.
I apologize for being late, but I had no choice. When do you intend on beginning your construction?
Sure. The whole thing that kind of mirrors our domino effect on here is these windows with that. So as soon as we get the okay from you, I can let them know. They have to manufacture these windows. That's about a 6-week process with that. What we would like to do is, before they start, is that we have all of our documents done for the most part. The only thing that we'd have to modify then is anything that we find out with those windows, any of the details associated with that. So from the time that we get the okay from you with that, we have 6 to 8 weeks. It's going to take them about a week to get it done with that. So we could be ready to go out to bid probably in the 10-week time frame, something in that range, from that time period, from when we get the okay to go do those 2 windows.
Anybody else have any questions? Steve?
Well, I always have questions. This costs way more money than I want to spend, but, and I was okay, and I was happy with you, Henry, at the first quote when you gave, because I thought it came in way under what I was expecting. And then when your alternative renovations blew you right out of the water, and I was not real warm and fuzzy after that, but, because a $2 million increase is a big jump.
We asked him to do it.
I know, I just said.
I mean, it's not like he just brought it up.
I just said, $2 million increase is a big jump.
No, I mean, we don't have to do the alternates. Everybody can go through them, and I don't want to take 10, 12 weeks to determine if we're going to do the alternates. I mean, everybody can go through and mark what they think is important, and then we can come back together and make a decision of what should be done and what can wait to be done before we move forward.
Well, I'm always concerned that when we start something that
Oh, absolutely, you're going to find,
the other things that come into play is where it scares me as far as the expenses.
which is where you also have the contingency in here
Oh, I
as
know.
well. So,
Where is the contingency listed for each building? Or is that not how it was done?
I think the whole design you see design contingency on page 2, design contingency on page 3, and then there is no design
Yeah, I
contingency.
got it.
on
Thank
page
you. And this is, would we divide up the architect cost across the 3 buildings since we were going to pay for the courthouse from the bond? Just kind of just curious, 512,000 to DLZ. Would we give a portion of that to pay for from the bond?
All of this comes from the bond?
Not the other buildings though, right? Those were going to be from ARP monies? Or are we paying for all this from?
Everything except the alternates are all coming from the bond. Nothing was approved for
The
ARP
bond
money.
was written just to cover the courthouse.
It was written $5 million for the courthouse and $700,000 for other buildings.
Okay. So we're not budgeting any of the remaining ARP monies for the buildings right now?
That's under discussion for the additional alternates.
Okay.
It hasn't been specifically appropriated for anything. It's just been put in there that the remaining fund will be used for buildings.
Just to remember a conversation about keeping the projects separate. But I'm not saying anyone's wrong. I'm just trying to remember how that conversation about the bond went down. I felt like we ended it just on the courthouse.
I don't think so. I think it was, Debbie will get it, it was $5 million for the courthouse and $700,000 for other buildings. And if memory serves me correctly, the $700,000 was the one where the council needed to approve with the commissioners. But Debbie will bring that. It's been a while.
When you were doing the foundation issues for this building, Henry, was there going to be, were you going to expose the foundation around the front where we think there was water
We're going to
infiltration?
expose the foundation on the north, east, and south sides. With it, we are going to waterproof the foundation with that. And then we're going to put a drainage system, new drainage system on those three sides. Not doing the west side because you have your ADA ramp going down to there with that. So really kind of limited on what you can do there with that. When we had our structural engineer, especially looking at that corner with that, we didn't see any settling of the building overly, nothing with that.
It's a 200-year-old building.
Yeah, with it. So we feel, and as you know, in that corner with that, I think the grade's been raised up a lot through the years with that. And the detail we currently have on there is to take that grade down to make sure it's below all the windows with that. We'd have a lowered area. It probably is going to be anywhere between 18, 20 inches, a lowered area. We'd have a retaining wall in through there. This lowered area would be where we'd put a gravel, like a pea gravel in through there, and then our drainage system in through there. The faults that you have right now with all the individual doors going down in through there is there's one drain. It's probably plugged up with that. I'm sure during the fall, leaves get in through there with it and get plugged up. Our goal here is that we don't want to have just one single drain along these areas. We want, in case something does happen in there, there's an alternate drain that things can go down so the water doesn't come back into the building.
So I guess part of what you're wanting us to do today is for the window.
Well, this is
Issue.
just a work session.
Well, but I mean,
Yeah.
this is what we're looking at is to get started for the window.
Right.
Right.
Right. And we don't, the whole idea of doing the practice windows, demonstration windows, it doesn't have to be, but I think it's going to resolve a lot of issues and open up a lot of questions.
I know when you and I were having this discussion, you said that they were framed in small, some of them were framed in smaller,
Right,
and that's the main issue.
right. We just want to make sure as we're going through there, what was done with there, what's remaining in through there. And, there's a lot of wood trim that happens in there. We want to try to make it, looks like they just put a flat stock piece on the inside with that, try to make it look period appropriate on the inside also. So what that trim piece needs to be.
Because I'm assuming that originally all these were stained at some point, so the windows that we would get, what you were saying was we have the possibility to stain those later, right?
You can with that. With the buildings like this, bringing it back to what it was, it really is a long-term item. If your vision for this space in here is to have all this being stained again with that, I would suggest that the windows that come in through here, we can pick a stained color, and they would come pre-stained and finished and ready to go with that. I don't know in the other parts of the building if that's the long-term thing. Everything is painted for the most part in other areas in there. Right now, the way I have it in there is the windows come to the site primed ready to be painted. So that's a decision that you can make with that. Cost difference isn't, the staining is a little bit more per the windows with that, but not a lot more, but it is more. And these windows for the demonstration are coming primed, ready to be painted.
What did you find, Debbie?
It's 5 million for the courthouse and any remainder to exchange to other buildings. 5 million is to improvement of the courthouse and the remainder of the funds available for financing certain capital projects to county-owned property as approved prior to any expenditures by both council and the board.
And the total amount of the bond you said was 5.8?
5,815,000.
So if we have 5 million for this building and the costs for DLZ's costs are 512,000. I guess I'm just trying to make sure numbers add up. Do the numbers on these pages include? They do not. So
Yeah, these numbers here are the construction costs.
they do not include
They do not
DLZ's
include fees.
fees.
That's correct.
So if we, yeah, the contingency is in there. So we're at roughly 4.8 million at this, for this building with all of the alternates and the contingency. Add the does the 512 cover all of the alternates and everything?
Yes.
Yes.
So there's no additional cost
There's
there?
no additional.
Okay. So there we're at 5.3, where there's $500,000 left. So the way I look at it, we're probably, there's not enough money in the bond to pay for all of this, right? Is that,
Well, yeah, correct.
okay.
There will have to be discussion if art money to be, now, we did.
Right, and that's why
appropriate-
you did it, yeah,
Right,
I understand.
Right, there is, art monies appropriated to buildings overall in general. We would just have to get the specifics down to it. There's about 4 million, I think. Debbie, there's about 4 million left in art, 4 point something.
There's 5.525 left in the bond.
Yeah, there's like 4 million, little over 4 million left in art monies, I believe.
So that would be enough to pay for the LZ and the courthouse.
In art money?
The bond is what I was going
Yes,
with that.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Now, we do have to be mindful of, we're looking at reopening the YOC, so all $4 million can't be to just, and the bond covers the courthouse pretty much. Because there are going to be, if we do that, there are going to be repairs and replacements to that as well. Oh, Debbie's looking for art money. Does anybody else have any questions for Henry? I don't want him to have to awkwardly stand up there in silence. Anybody have anything
Just
else?
watching our brains spin all at one time right now. We're all thinking.
I see those little things above your head, and, question
That's
marks
exactly
here,
right.
numbers going through there, yep.
I hear her door. I heard her door. And we have to be mindful of time as well, because we have a 5 o'clock. Okay. I thought it was around 4 million. I was just estimating. Yeah. Take out what's not been, right. Okay. Anybody else have any questions, comments?
If you have anything else, you know where to find me.
All right, I appreciate you, Henry. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
all
the
your hard
time.
work. I know this has not been, you guys have been out several times and going through everything, and we appreciate it.
need to get with you, my crew wants to come out here on Friday morning too.
Oh, it's coming out, want to come out this Friday morning? Okay, for this building?
Yes,
Okay, we'll let everybody know.
all right,
So when they see you guys walking around.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. I'm going to leave that there for later on.
Yep, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I have a, wait a minute, I have to, and I think I just talked to you about it,
Who, me? Okay.
but
I couldn't tell who you were pointing at.
I had an idea, it's just a thought, because this courtroom is not set
Oh,
up.
yes, we have talked about this.
In any way
Yep.
to be able to hold meetings, he said it's terrible. Bill Upchurch is excellent. I don't know if you guys have seen anything done at woodworking and building stuff. He's in with some other guy.
I can't remember his name. Bill, somebody maybe? No, that's Bill. I don't remember. Travis, maybe, I don't know.
If we could get him or someone to build us something, because we have to leave that how it is, to build us something that looks nice down here that maybe seated 12 people.
That would be
So you could
beautiful.
have other boards.
And it would be horseshoe.
You could make it like a horseshoe shape that we could have meetings and not, like you guys being back there, everybody could sit.
Even when it's just the council, it's very hard for us to hold our meeting because we're talking down a long line.
Exactly.
It's not productive.
So it's just a thought that with that money, some of it, maybe we could have Bill's in too. Or someone.
I may or may not have already asked him to put together a quote.
Yeah, because I think that's, we just need to do
Yeah,
something.
we do. A, this looks bad, and B, with the 7 back there, and it happens with the planning commission as well, we just don't have the space. It does.
But I just thought we could use some of the money for that, but it would be.
Yep, I agree. But I kind of already asked Bill if he would work on something, so, and put together a quote. Do you guys have questions on those documents?
No, thank you. I added up the total number, looking at the maximums for everything with the alternates and DLZ. You're at $6.857 million. It's a big chunk of money, for sure.
Yep.
But we knew it would be, right?
Yep. All right, anybody else? I'll make a motion to adjourn since we have a 5 o'clock meeting.
Motion been made to adjourn.
Solid waste management. We have a solid waste management meeting at
I'll
5
second the
o'clock.
motion.
Sorry.
Adjourn.
Yeah.